brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Going back to Anya in France, a first-time caller. She was getting into alienating people, bringing up this info. No, it's true. I mean, we've been incrementally brought up in all this, and some countries are ahead more than others in different areas. I would say France is further ahead in some respects, but the U.S. is more ahead in other ways. GMO, police state, a lot of it. It's a complex issue, but, I mean, where do you see the world going? How do you see the people being able to get folks out of their trance?
Well, I don't. That's the problem. I mean, I've literally turned my whole family against me. Like I say, we're not where you are, but if you go on to GMOs, okay, France is sort of on the front, but I think that the lobbying in Brussels is going to be a big problem. You talk about chemtrails. I've got them up in my sky. Nobody seems to want to know about it. It's absolutely frightening. It's really frightening. I've been watching Christine Lagarde on her sort of like readjusting the whole finance. I really don't think people realise what's going on. I mean, I don't know where they're living. I've just come out from underneath a rock, and you actually don't think you're living anymore. It's really frightening because you talk to people and they just don't want to know. Nobody wants to know. You actually become a bit like an alien.
Well, I agree with you, but that's because they're asleep. You're trying to wake them up. They want to keep sleeping. It's because they're in a technotronically induced, in Brzezinski's own words, trance-like state. And so, it's like living in a body snatcher movie. When they finally start to wake up, though, it's going to be explosive.
It's too late. It's too late. I mean, I literally, I'm sort of thinking, well, what the hell's going on here? I mean, where are these people? I'm listening to you, and I can see that you've got people over there. But then you watch videos. I mean, I watched a video today of a guy, and you were talking about these Americans behind their screens playing gaming. Well, I saw something on RT television, which was about the computers being shipped out to Ghana, and you see this bloody American guy sitting behind, and his wife is being interviewed on a settee with her daughter, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's great because I'm sort of like I'm bonding with my son," and I'm thinking, fucking hell, well, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. This is where all these people are. I mean, they're just living in another world.
Well, literally, you're right. You're watching people being sucked into the matrix. You're watching other people get even deeper into it, and you're watching the societal takeover happen. And the globalists...
And I really appreciate you, Alex, because to be quite honest with you, I mean, I've been listening to you every evening now. I mean, you're my lifeline. You're my lifeline because once you have this veil pulled off you don't know where you are. You sort of think, well, Jesus Christ, where have I been all these years? Where have I been?
But see, it's going to be the same way for other people that weren't awake. It's a process, and all of us aren't totally awake. We're always learning more. We all see through rose-colored darklies. But, I mean, look, you woke up. When did you start waking up?
Only a few weeks ago.
Well, see, but I mean, that's good. See, but just like you think they're laughing at you now, or they're getting angry at you now, down the road, you're planting seeds that will sprout. Because this New World Order is real. This dehumanization is real. This is really happening. And so the fact that you're warning people, they will wake up down the road.
Well, I hope so. But, I spoke to my father about it, and he thinks I'm a lunatic. He really thinks I'm a lunatic.
Well, that's because he judges the world off of how he is, and he's reasonable and nice, I'm surmising. And so he just can't believe that people would act like this. It's like neighbors when they get told, we just dug up 25 bodies in your next door neighbor's backyard.
Well, I actually think it's a bit, my first thought was, I feel a bit like, and I don't know how people are going to perceive this, I actually feel like a Jew in sort of like, just before I go into a gas chamber.
Well, I mean, that's a normal feeling. No, this is a predatory system, and it is authoritarian, and it is predatory. So we've got to admit that. Thanks for the call. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
The earth, riches, and wisdom. So we have even right there.
What's his name?
This is an emergency transmission from FEMA Region 6 in occupied North America.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar. There is a predatory, scientifically directed world government that's forming. It's not in total control yet. It wants total control. And its main mission is to give the elites life extension technologies and control over the rest of humanity for forced population reduction in a designed, controlled, technocratic future. And the different plans all sit together like Russian dolls and run from bad to worse. And it tends to be the most vicious, most predatory that are captaining the different globalist programs that work in concert together on record. Their religion is social Darwinism. That the elite are allowed to kill and do whatever they want because they're in charge, because they are the fittest. I, of course, have given the analogy of cancer. Cancer is not elite because it's able to run through the body and destroy what is its host, finally extincting its own habitat. That does not mean that every other system out there operating is good either. Humans, in general, have our own problems, and it is a human manifestation of our weaknesses that have allowed this ultimately selfish and wicked group to be in control. There is no honor amongst these people. The globalists are a den of devils. There's no other way to describe it. If you don't believe in a physical Satan, it doesn't matter. Because the New World Order is an archetypal manifestation that is more satanic than anything you could ever imagine. Now, my friends, David Knight's here with us for this segment, then more calls and news in the next. Host of the Nightly News with Leanne McAdoo and, of course, Jakari Jackson. And when I was first looking at hiring him about a year and a half ago, David Knight up in North Carolina, I knew in part of his resume had worked in some libertarian think tanks and, of course, owned different video production companies and things. So he was a journalist. And I was really excited in the work he'd done and covered with us before he even moved here, dealing with groups that were investigating inside colleges, secret testing of stuff 50 to 100 times, sometimes higher, what is safe and allowable in a test. And they did this to skew the numbers, to take super high numbers and then apply it to small numbers of particula to ban fireplaces. We were first telling you about this years ago. People didn't believe it. Now it's in the news. They want to ban fireplaces or tax you for having them, or wood-burning stoves. It's a tool of control. Here it is in the Daily Caller today from the government documents and testimony in Congress. We have a clip coming up as well. But report, EPA tested deadly pollutants on humans to push Obama administration's agenda. Because they're not just going to list carbon dioxide as a deadly pollutant that plants breathe to tax it. They're going to tax all particula, while not worrying about serious particula coming in from China in the jet stream, or GMO, or pesticides, or fluoride in the water. No, it's all about saying any particula, including hay dust, is illegal. Your children doing chores on the farm, illegal. This is all being announced. We push back, they back off, they come back. So this is a total takeover that makes feudalism in ancient England look like a heavenly dream. This is neo-feudalism in their own words. David Knight, break down the history of this and give folks the rest of the story.
Exactly right, Alex. This is coming back into the news because they're trying to push this wood smoke regulation. This is something that's been going around for quite some time with the EPA. Actually, going back to September of 2011, we have a clip that I want to play in just a second here. This is EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, and she goes before Congress, and it was already set up with Representative Markey that she's going to tell everybody just how dangerous these fine particulate matter is.
Let's go to that clip.
Yeah.
Cumulatively, what are the benefits of cleaning up particulate matter? Does that help or hurt our efforts to battle cancer, to battle the impact it has upon the health of people in our country?
Particulate matter or soot causes premature deaths. It doesn't make you sick. It's directly causal to dying sooner than you should. So the impacts of delaying efforts, cost-effective efforts, I might add, to address particulate matter are more people dying sooner than they should.
How would you compare it to the fight against cancer? Reducing particulate matter.
Yeah, I was briefed not long ago. If we could reduce particulate matter to healthy levels, it would have the same impact as finding a cure for cancer in our country.
Can you say that sentence one more time?
Yes, sir. If we could reduce particulate matter to levels that are healthy, we would have an identical impact.
They talk to us like we're two.
She's reading her talking points about cancer.
That's pretty good cumulative.
Meanwhile, they're putting cancer viruses in all the major vaccines on record.
You know, he starts this, he's already got her talking point set up where she's going to tell everybody that particulate matter is killing as many people as cancer. And he even mentioned that at the very beginning. He says cancer. And so then she repeats that claim. Now, at the same time she's giving this congressional testimony, the EPA in North Carolina, at the University of North Carolina, is hooking people up to diesel exhaust fumes out of a diesel truck. They got a pipe running in, they put them in a little closed room, and they put a mask over their face, and they're feeding them diesel fumes.
And they lie to them and tell them it's safe.
Exactly. Now, so that happened now in September of 2012. So that congressional testimony was 2011. At the time, they're exposing people to levels that the EPA has already said were fatal. They're 50 to 70 times, in some cases higher than that, levels of exposure to this that they've already determined were fatal. Now, in September 2012, the American Tradition Institute, and this is based on some detective work by Steve Malloy with junkscience.com, he looked at, he's constantly monitoring the EPA, and he saw where this lady was sent to the hospital. So he started investigating, and he found exactly what they were doing. They started a temporary restraining order. They sued to stop.
And you told me about this before it broke, because you've worked with these groups.
That's right. That was about a month before I started. You had David Schneier, who is the attorney, on. He talked to you about what was going on, and they filed for temporary restraining